Think about this line in the story. When it came to open the LP&L bill, some customers were taken aback by the drastic jump. The January bill for a Lubbock trucking business went from $95 to $690. That's quite a jump. That's only on the stormwater fee. Woo! That's drastic, I think you could say. Yeah. Whoever that is not happy today. I'm going to guess that person threw something inside the office. Gold council members need their email boxes full of people saying that this is bad. This is penalizing. It's unfair. We demand you change it, Mayor Glenn Robertson said. Mayor said in the last few days his inbox and voicemail have been flooded with about 300 Lubbock residents. Mayor telling Fox, this was a short-sighted decision I think we need to correct immediately. Robertson, Mayor Pro Tem Jim Galt, the only two council members who voted against the new stormwater rate structure. When I felt it would be extremely unfair, I felt it's a system worse than our old system. Councilwoman Karen Gibson also received calls from residents. Going all of a sudden, they're getting hit with a $25.58 charge for stormwater drainage, which some of which they don't have. Gibson said the council needed to discuss the problems before jumping to any conclusions. Quote, the council didn't even have a chance to sit down and talk through these things together. We just need a chance to fix the challenges. Gibson said the outcome isn't all bad. She said, you've got the residents with smaller homes that are calling and saying, thank you for making my bill go down. I can tell you that I looked at the stormwater, and I've got to go back. I need to look at other previous months. When I tried to yesterday, the system wasn't working online. Shocking that the LP&L system wasn't working online, I know. But there really wasn't a decrease at all. I mean, the people that I've talked to who had a decrease, it was very minimal. It was very small. Those who saw increases, I don't think anyone saw a minimal increase. It was a huge increase. Especially if you own a business, it was a huge increase. But they're going to take a look at it. Mayor Robertson said he might have a solution. Quote, let's go back to the old rate structure and let's immediately start issuing any new debt for stormwater in the general fund, Robertson said. Karen Gibson disagreed with him. Quote, you can't just stick it into the general fund. Based on what I understand, it's 18 to 20 cents all of a sudden on property tax. Next time the council will have a chance to discuss it face-to-face is on February 26th. Before that, the mayor will have a meeting. Told you about that. This is why I'm telling you, you show up to these meetings. If you're not happy, or if you are happy, whichever. If you're happy, if you're not happy, show up to these meetings. Make it a point. Look, for some of you who are facing $300, $400, $500 increases, hell, even if it's $100, it is worth it on a Wednesday night to go over to Hillcrest Country Club and sit down and let the mayor know what's going on. It is worth it to show up to City Hall and let them know what's happening. Even if your bill was a $25 increase, I'd say it's worth it. You know, go tell them the stories, tell them what's going on. If you don't think it's fair, show up. If you think it's fair, show up. This council will listen, I think, just because of what has been shown in the past. There are members of this council who can be swayed by public opinion. But they have to know that a lot of people are being affected. You know, 300 people, I understand where some are saying, hey, let's slow down here, because 300 people in a city our size, 300 people, it's really not that much. Now, did everyone who was adversely affected by this, did everybody call the mayor? No. Of course not. Did everybody call Karen Gibson or Jeff Griffith or Jim Galt? No. That's why you have to show up. That's why you have to make your voice heard. We have seen it work in the past. If you just ignore it and you stay home and you just complain to your husband or wife or to your kids or to your employees and you don't show up to City Hall, I'm telling you, they're not going to change anything. Let's go to the phones. And Josh, you're on KFYO.
Good morning. Well, to me it seems like this city council is intent on ruining this city over time. You know, we've got the fifth largest debt out of Texas behind all the liberal cities, and they seem to forget the people don't live here for the mountains and the oceans and things. You know, it's supposed to be a low cost of living, and I've heard people reporting that it's really not that much lower than it used to be,
right.
A while back. So, and people think we're sheltered here. We're following a lot of the same federal plans that all the other major cities are following. And, the city council will take any federal money that they can get their hands on, regardless of the strings that are attached. I think they sent a lobbyist or something I was hearing to get any money they can. Personally, I think that's immoral to take all the money you can from a federal government that has no idea what they're doing and is completely bankrupt for the most part. So, it's an issue. I'll tell you, one of the things we've been discussing is starting up a new city outside of Lubbock to where we can shelter ourselves from all this garbage that's going on. And,
are you going to take over Wolfrith? What are you going to do?
I'm not sure where yet, but I tell you what, it is so popular. I've been amazed. Just about everybody's interested in it, and about 50% of the people say, "When are we going to do it?" And
wait, who's talking about this?
Well, we're just talking amongst ourselves because of all the ridiculous things that are going on, and we think it may be a way to shelter ourselves from the ridiculous stuff that's going on in Lubbock, but still be able to access the city.
Huh? So you just buy a bunch of land somewhere?
Yeah, apparently it's not real difficult. I know a guy that actually may be starting up a business doing the thing, and I talked to a $multi-million businessman, and he had been thinking of it very seriously as well. So, across the board, from your average citizen to people that are, well-to-do or, extremely successful, it's a topic that they were thinking of before, some of them, a few of them, before I even had mentioned anything. So it's going to be interesting. I think, 2 to 5 year plan would probably be appropriate, but apparently it's not that difficult. You need a certain amount of people in a certain area, not that many, and petition to the county, not the county commissioner, the county judge. But anyway, it's going to become more important, as we move forward. But people are certainly interested. About half the people I talk to are asking me when we're going to do it.
All right. Very interesting. I like it, Josh. Have a good one out there.
All right, very good. Thank you.
Wolfrith, you're on notice. Josh might be coming for you. No, they're not going to buy out Wolfrith. They'll probably buy it, just Idalou maybe. Shallow Water. One of those other cities just right outside. In all seriousness, though, there's a reason why you have cities outside of Lubbock growing so much. Shallow Water's one of them. Idalou's one of them. And it's not just because of the schools. It's because people are getting out. People are wanting to get further and further away from Lubbock and from the mess that has happened over at City Hall. And the mess that just continues to happen when, and I've brought it up before, a city gets to a certain size, it starts turning a little more liberal. And people want to get away from that. And you see that in every mid-major, mid-sized city that is out there. People want to get away. Nobody really wants to live in downtown Dallas. Nobody really wants to live even in downtown Austin. They want to get out. They want to get away. Let's go to the phones real quick before the break. Jerry.
Yeah, a friend of mine's down there this morning with all of his paperwork and everything at City Hall with some kind of meeting with this water runoff board, and he will be there at the meeting because it's going to cost him between $7,000 and $10,000 a year.
Oh, wow.
And 15 other businesses that he is talking with is between $7,000 and $10,000 a year. One is $21,000 a year.
How much is that over what they were paying? Do you know?
$21,000 a year.
Oh, over what they were. My goodness.
I mean, his is $7,000 a year over what he was paying for his regular normal bill.
Wow.
And everybody's looking at by the month. He went nuts when he said,
"Oh, sure."
He said, "Good grief, this is $7,000."
Yeah.
Because at first he said, "Oh well, you know, it's all going to go up." I said, "How much a year is that?" And then he said, and started calling. He's called the mayor, never got nothing. He's called every city council person. Joy Luttrell is his, and she's supposed to meet.
Good luck.
She's supposed to meet with him Monday. But I said, "Okay, you take this with him," and I handed him a printout of all the people that voted for it, time after time after time, and got up and made speeches about how great it was going to be for the city, and they're the ones that have got us in $2 billion in debt and growing.
Wow. Well, I mean, okay, you know, let's just take a look. The one story that I was talking about from Fox, okay?
Yeah.
The trucking company that went from $95 just in 1 month, $95 to $690. If that stays constant throughout the 12 months, that means they're going from a year paying $1,140 to $8,340.
Correct.
That's unbelievable.
No, it's highway robbery.
Yeah.
Because this man and all these other people are on the highway, and the Texas Highway Department controls all their water runoff. Lubbock doesn't have nothing to do with it.
Oh, Jerry, thanks for the call. Appreciate it. Have a good day out there.
You bet.
How long do you think till they change the name of LP&L? Just with all the, you know what, in the last 3 years or 4 years, it's just been one thing after the other with LP&L. They just need a new logo and a new name. That freshen everything up a little bit over there. Let's go to the phones. And Don, you're on KFYO.
Hey, Chad, how you doing this morning?
Doing all right. How about yourself?
Just real quick, want to jump in on the stormwater. I own a small business, one employee. My stormwater fee is going from $92, or has gone from $92 per month to $460, which is about $9,000 a year just for one fee at the city. You throw on top that I spend about $14,000 a year in property taxes. That's a huge chunk of money for a one-person business. And dovetail on the previous caller about the cost of living in Lubbock skyrocketing. Well, for a cost of doing business for a small guy, it's getting really high. And I've already had to raise my prices to cover just the stormwater fee.
I was about to ask, I mean, how do you've got to pass it on to the consumer. And of course, they're going to be mad at you, which doesn't help you out at all.
No, and I could see a 1 or 2% increase, but mine went up 400%. And I doubt there's many cities in the United States where you can tell the constituents that we're going to raise a fee 400% on you, and that's fair. And most of my water does not even go to the street; it goes to a vacant lot. So the city basically has told me that I'm a polluter, because my property is large and the water goes somewhere. But real quick, Chad, one thing I'd like your listeners to maybe jump into and investigate, I'd like to know how much LP&L took in the month of December of 14, the last month of the old rate. What was the total revenue to the city in stormwater fees compared with 1 month later? What was the total revenue for stormwater fees? I think you'll probably find that it went up drastically, and it's nothing but just a way to raise money for stormwater projects.
Yeah.
Huge increase, I'm sure.
Yeah, I would imagine so. Don, great call. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Bye.
Yeah, I mean, you keep doing that, you're going to price. Maybe Jim Grohl's right on this whole thing on churches shut their doors. You hear stories like that. And that's the second story. There was another in the news yesterday of someone who went from basically $1,100 a year to $8,300 a year. That's going to hurt a lot of businesses. If you have that many businesses seeing a 300 to 400% increase only in the stormwater fee, We're not talking about everything else. And we know the price of everything else went up. Just wait till the summer months. Just wait until you get those bills. Just wait until what? July? August? If they don't fix the problem by then, you're going to have people down at City Hall with pitchforks. If you thought the citizens got ticked off, and you're going to have, not only going to have you upset business owners out here, but you've also now upset the homeowners. And you're going to have more protests. You're going to have more people down at City Hall. I'm telling you, you got to show up. You got to show up and make your voice heard on this one. We've been talking about the stormwater rates. People are very upset. Let's go to the phones. And Burley, you're on KFYO.
Yes, Chad. Just wanted to make one point, and that is that governments at any level, including our local level, do very few things well. In fact, most of the time they just mess it up. And to add to that point, I was talking to a guy in the barbershop about a year ago that had moved his business from the city from within the city limits of Lubbock to outside, and he said it was the best business decision he ever made. Now, what do you think he thinks now?
Yeah.
Because if he had that stormwater fee.
Yeah.
So other people are going to be looking at that. How can we get out of the reach and out from under the administration of our city government?
Well, at least some of the smaller businesses might do that, but you know, it's one of those things where if you're a business, and especially some of these smaller businesses across town, locally owned and operated, you're going to be having a tough time as long as this rate structure is in place.
That's right, and of course, poor city government has gotten us a $1.6 billion debt.
Yeah.
So that's all my comments.
All right, Burley.
Government does not do anything well, including local governments.
All right, have a good one out there.
Yeah.
770-5790 toll free, 1-800-687-0790. The mayor having a meeting next week, inviting everybody to go out to the Hillcrest Country Club at 6:30 p.m. on Wednesday the 18th to talk about this issue. And if it's something that concerns you, I would make it a point to show up. 770-5790 toll free, 1-800-687-0790. Jim Geralt quoted in a story saying that he thinks that some of the churches, nonprofits, all businesses, some of them may have to shut down. Others will have the ability to pass the increase on to the consumers, but that only works so long. When an economy is going well, everything's going well. If you keep passing the cost on to consumers, at some point, the consumer might just say, I'm not going to shop at your store anymore. I'm not going to do business with you. I'll buy online. I'll go somewhere else to purchase. Yeah. And if you're a business owner and you have to up your price, and I would think it'd have to be a pretty dramatic increase in some prices, going from $1,100 a year to $8,300 and trying to not only cover that, but make a profit. And that's just on one part of the LP&L bill. You're going to be taking off customers at that point. And not every customer out there will be as informed as others as to why you're having to raise your prices. They're just going to blame you. They're not going to blame the city. This is why I was all for when the local franchisor of Buffalo Wild Wings, when they put that Obamacare tax in, let's inform people. Let's let people know why you're having to increase your prices. If you're a business in town, I'd put a sign up. We're increasing prices due to the city council and the rate structure they approved. we're sorry. I think that'd be a great idea. That way, when somebody comes in, they're ticked off at you, a business owner, for having to increase your prices. You point at the sign. Go, here you go. Maybe even put a copy of your bill up there. Now, here you go. Here's the difference. If you're really that mad, go talk to City Hall. Once they lower once they correct the rate structure, once they lower bills, we'll lower our prices. We don't want to tick off our employees. We don't want to tick off our customers. That'd be a great business move, by the way. I would absolutely applaud any business that did that just called out the City Hall and LP&L and said, well, we got screwed. We have to make money here, and we have to pass it on to you guys. Sorry. If you're mad about it, call the mayor. Call City Hall. Let them know. Maybe they'll change the way things run. Maybe. On the Stormwater deal, Jeff Griffith, quoted by KCBD, he said that he voted in favor of the rate change because he believed that it was a more fair way of charging people. Quote, is any tax or fee truly fair? Griffith said, as always, it makes some people unhappy. This is a concern. That's why we'll be readdressing it. Griffith says paying the stormwater fee is essential for funding the drainage projects that were put into place to combat flooding issues. Well, a lot of people have been adversely affected, myself included. My personal and my business definitely affected more than double. However, we've got to look at the whole city. We've got 240,000 people to deal with. We sure don't want the floods like we got back in the 40s and 50s. Mayor Robertson believes the only way to fix the issue is revert back to the old system, short term. Quote, long term, it's going to cost all of our ratepayers more money, Robertson said. We're going to lose our tax base. We tried to fix a long-term problem with a short-term solution, and that never works. So still, we have not heard really anything from Hernandez, Joy, or Price. Let's go to the phones, and Robert, you're on KFYO.
Hello, Chad. Chad, you said LP&L is going to have to change their name.
Yeah.
Well, I've got a new name for them.
Okay.
We'll call them the Lubbock Municipal Fee Administration Office.
I like it.
And if you look at that,
it's accurate.
Yeah, yeah. If you look at with the initials on that, it works out pretty well.
Yeah, it does. You're right.
Anyway,
have a good
all right.
one.
That's all I had. Thanks, Chad.
Thank you very much. Yes, that does work. Let's go down to Wellman, Texas, and Marty, you're on KFYO.
Hey, Chad, how are you, sir?
I'm doing all right. How about yourself?
Hey, good, Chad.
Hey, let me ask you something. You're down in Wellman. Whenever you hear about all the junk happening with the city council up here, are you? How happy are you that you live down in Wellman?
I used to be mayor out at Wellman, so that's an interesting question. But you know, it's probably 90% of the decisions them people, the council has to make has already been made by more at the state level. So then they have to implicate them. So, I can see both sides.
Yeah,
I really can.
All right, Marty, have a good one down there. All right.
All right, sir. You take care.
Thank you. Let's go back to the phones and Brian.
Hey, Chad, I just want to tell you need to tone down on the name change. You can't give those geniuses any more ideas down there. Because what they're going to have to do is they'll have to do some research and hire a fund to do the research on the feasibility of changing the name.
I'll do it.
And then, we're out, several $100,000 on that. And then we have to have a design firm come in and design the new logo.
Yep.
There's a few more $100,000.
I can get my wife to do that.
Then we got to hire somebody from out of the state.
I'll tell you right now, I'll do it for $200,000.
We have to change all the signs that they've got up. And then the next thing you know, we're going to have a design name change fee on our electric and water bill as well.
That's a good point. Okay, no name change. Never mind.
There you go.
Yeah, good point, Brian.
All right, thanks.
Have a good one. A feasibility fee is what they will have on the LP&L bill. Yeah, never mind. We don't need the name. Forget about the name change. Brian brings up some very good points. Yeah, I didn't think about that. Let's go down to Liberty Hill. And Larry, you're on KFYO. How are you, sir?
Chad, it's nice talking to you. I enjoy your show, and you guys make a lot of sense.
Appreciate it.
I just want to let you know I graduated from Tech back in the late 70s, and my wife and I ended up in Austin, Texas, so we were about 25 years ahead of Lubbock in the way of your rate structures and how Lubbock plundering and looting is taking money out of everyone's pocket. So,
I think we're trying to catch up quickly, though.
Yeah, I think you are. I saw a nice little city that was, 250,000. We moved down there, and it was great, inexpensive to live in. And over time, we had a city council that's flat, just didn't listen to the people, and nobody really lives in the city anymore except for the high dollar people and the people that don't have anything.
Right.
And we moved out to Liberty Hill about 4 years ago and love it out there. But we'd love to come back to Lubbock and retire up here. But heck, every time I listen on the radio, you're getting more and more like Central Texas.
Well, I think it's one of those, and you mentioned the population figure that you moved down. What do you say, to Austin when it was much smaller than what it is now?
Yeah.
You hit a certain population, and it's not. It's everywhere, but you hit a certain population, and it's like, oh boy, let's steal a bunch of money from the taxpayers. Let's go in because people don't pay attention to what happens locally. They only want to pay attention to the federal level. They don't pay attention to what happens at City Hall, and all of a sudden you get bigger government taking more and more money away from the citizens.
Well, you hit it on the head. You got to get the people to come down there and voice their opinions and make sure they listen to them. Because I know back when we lived in Austin, I used to go down there regularly, and the city council used to meet on Thursday afternoons for about 4 hours and run the city that way. And then when they went to a full week and started paying those people, and they just came up with all sorts of crazy things to fill their day.
Yeah.
And that's when I saw it going south. They turned a part-time job into a full-time job, and say people just said, "Oh, look, we got a big pile of money. Let's figure out things we can spend to spend it."
Yep, that's what they'll do.
Good day, and I'll continue to listen.
All right, Larry, have a great day down in Liberty Hill.